Well, hello out there, planet Earth, and happy Friday. Welcome to Memorial Day weekend 2024, everyone. Hope you're all excited to hit the beaches, especially at my beloved Jersey Shore. It's Friday, and it's always Friday with me, Stephen Fry, your SMB guy. ICYMI, or in case you missed it, SMB stands for Small and Medium Sized Business. For the last 20 years, I've been a consultant for SMBs, a voice and a sounding board for business leaders advocating on their behalf, their employees as well. Gotta have them. I believe very strongly, everyone, in sharing stories, providing perspective, and creating connection. That's the best thing I can offer is connection, people. So every single Friday, you can find me here on talkradio.myc doing just that, lending what's left of my mind and my voice to this radio show, where I interview business leaders as well as their trusted advisors, the folks they partner with for success. One thing I've noticed over the years, some of the best thought leadership for SMBs, it actually happens on Friday. Just about that time we feel the freedom of the weekend coming. Or in this week's case, maybe even yesterday, because my kids are off of school, they're running around in the backyard right next to where I'm talking to you guys. We're all so anxious to start the weekend on a normal basis, especially one like this. Crucial pearls of wisdom that we come up with right before the weekend starts, they're overlooked, they're forgotten in favor of our fun activities and the freedom from the office. Here on the show, we take advantage of that weekend freedom and clarity, and we like to discuss popular topics that are on the minds of business leaders. Once again, people, the name of the show, not just a play on words. I do like plays on words, but my last name means free in German. There is method behind the madness, contrary to popular belief. As many of you know, Memorial Day weekend has been rough for me since I moved to the suburbs. It's that magical time in my daughter's lives when they get to perform their dance recital. That's right. Every year since I moved to my house, I've traded the beaches to watch Sloan and Hayden perform at the New Brunswick State Theater. I'm obviously very proud of them. However, would it be too much to ask for us to get 1 year at the beach before they leave my house? Please? That's it. I'll be at the New Brunswick State Theater for the rest of the weekend. Not sure if you're all aware, May is ALS Awareness Month. ALS, or amyotrophic lateral sclerosis, is a progressive neurodegenerative disease that affects nerve cells in the brain and the spinal cord. Unfortunately, there is no cure for ALS yet. Why did I bring that up? You might think that's a completely unrelated subject. Don't worry, it's not. The reason that I bring that up is because we lost a family friend this week who was dealt a very difficult hand in this life. So, seeing that it is ALS Awareness Month as well as Memorial Day weekend, I wanted to remember her for a moment and just chat about her type of heroic story because it's very inspirational for people. At the age of 15, she was diagnosed with osteogenic sarcoma, which is a kind of bone cancer. It most often starts in the long bones, like the legs of the arms. It was found in her leg. She had to have a portion of her leg amputated to prevent the cancer from spreading. At the age of 38, she was diagnosed with breast cancer, which obviously an unfortunate diagnosis. However, more common and more treatable one than the first horrific cancer she had to deal with. There was some doubt as to whether or not she would make it, and she actually was thriving for a long time. But at the age of 46, she was diagnosed with ALS, better known as Lou Gehrig's disease. So, as most of you know, I love the method behind the madness, which we're obviously going to get into today. So, I wanted to give you a quick geek translation regarding the name of this disease. Amyotrophic comes from the Greek language. A means no, myo refers to muscles, trophic means nourishment. So amyotrophic means no muscle nourishment, and when a muscle has no nourishment, it atrophies or it wastes away. Lateral identifies the areas in a person's spinal cord where portions of the nerve cells that signal and control the muscles are located. As this area degenerates, it leads to scarring or hardening, sclerosis, in the region. Terrible, terrible news to receive this type of diagnosis. Back to my friend Amanda, who passed away. You've never seen a bigger smile and a stronger, more passionate presence in the face of adversity. That smile would light up a room and energize anyone around her. She was a heroine to many, and she will be sorely missed without a doubt. Life can throw some unexpected curveballs at you there's no question, including the plan I had for our show today to bring it all back to some positivity and some fun. Not to worry, we're going to have a blast. Let's put our smiles back on. It's because that's what my friend Amanda would have wanted everyone to do anyway. She was a pro at that. Today, we are going to talk Nice Guys virtual New Jersey visit. The plan for the show today was to have my old friend, who is a special returning guest champion, come visit me in person in central New Jersey as opposed to hanging out in my virtual world of madness. As life happens, both of his children are sick this week, so our original plan will not be coming to fruition. That said, he is here in Zoom land with me, and it is time for you guys to strap in for the return of this guest. I met him 2 years ago at a friend's 40th birthday party. This native New Yorker and self proclaimed city celebrated nice guy founded his company to celebrate the city, its people, its culture, and its food. And while food is one of my favorite products, I love that he celebrates the people. With that being said, the tour fittingly focuses on exploring the culinary delights of various neighborhoods, such as the Lower East Side, Greenwich Village, and other iconic areas of New York City. Participants get to sample food from a variety of local nosh spots, from the Food Network to celebrated pizza places to award-winning cupcakes, while learning the history and the culture of the area. How much more fun could you possibly have, people? Talk is cheap. We're on talkradio.nyc. We don't want it to just be talk. We want you all to use the insight we get on the business landscape and create more impact on Monday morning. That's what we're all about. It's far too often the businesses that I consult with, they're focused on some type of product, some type of shiny new mousetrap that's going to solve all of their problems. Consistently, and my guest would agree, products change every single day, although he loves food too, as do I. In every other facet of our lives, whether you're talking business or personal life, doesn't matter. There is no substitute for surrounding yourself with the right people first and focus on a process that's going to help you achieve your goals. You do that, the right stuff will be there when you need it. I met this guy at my friend's 40th birthday party, and we not only had a great first interview, we have a fun relationship where we laugh our asses off when we talk to each other. Our returning champion is Dante Mercadante. He's the founder of Nice Guy Tours in New York City. Once again, a lifelong New Yorker, born and raised in Yonkers, Nice Guy Food Tours CEO, remember, that's Chief Eating Officer, Dante Mercadante. He became a licensed NYC sightseeing guide in 2012. Yes, that is his real name. Anytime I talk about you, Dante, I get that all the time. That can't be his real name. Utilizing his other backgrounds like stand-up comedy and acting alongside this license, he found his calling in 2014 with the birth of Nice Guy Tours. Prior to having this job, people would say, I really love my job. Dante didn't believe them or think it was possible. Now, he looks forward to work every day and gets great joy out of guiding locals and out-of-towners alike through the streets of NYC. He says, I never really knew what I wanted to be when I grew up. I've always loved trying new food. All happy events in my life revolve around food, and now my job is no exception. As the leader and trusted servant, he will be out there making sure your stomach dances while we walk around and talk. That's what it's about. Dante's Nice Guy Tours is rated #1 out of 256 different food and drink tours in New York City, which I love that, on TripAdvisor repeatedly. He's been featured on various media outlets such as the Journal News, Westmore News, Westchester Magazine, the Huffington Post, Fox 5 NY, Empire, Radio Now, and today, for the second time, talkradio.nyc. He's a plethora of knowledge on NYC history and, of course, food. I've been on his walking tour of Greenwich Village. It was awesome. I intend to join him again this summer for one of his new tours that he is kicking off shortly. We'll hear about it in a moment. Once again, joining me here in the virtual playground instead of in real life, the man himself, Mr. Nice Guy. Dante, welcome back, brother. Thanks for joining me. You do have to unmute. Remember, study show, I can't hear you when you're on mute.
No, I'm just kidding. I'm off of mute now. There we go. I'm all good. Yeah. Good to see you. Thank you.
Dude, I love that you're back. I love that you're coming out with some new ideas and things that I can't wait to be a part of. You made your dream job happen. You looked at it as impossible at some point, arguably living the dream more than most. You got to talk to us once again about how you got where you are today. Talk to us about the founder's journey, baby.
Well, it's funny because as far as doing it as a job, I kind of found it by accident. I'm guessing there'll be people listening who might not even know what a food tour is. I didn't know what it was until I got it as a job. I was looking on, I was out of work. I worked in like sales jobs, sort of like stuff I never really liked, and customer service and whatever, kind of bouncing around, making a paycheck. So Craigslist, I don't even know if they still do this, but they would list jobs by category, like accounting or teaching or whatever. So it was under etc. was where I found it. And it's like, would you like to be a New York City sightseeing guide? I said, that seems like fun. And I met a guy that owned the company. He was desperate for people. He had run, and that's not why he hired me. I think he hired me because I'm good, but he was also desperate. He had run like a deal through like Living Social, which I don't even know if that's around anymore. Anyway, he had all these guests and no guides to show him around. So he gives me, he interviews me, he hires me on the spot. He gives me a script to study, to give the tour. He gave me the script on July 1st. On July 2nd, he said, come give me a tour based on the script I gave you. So I studied it overnight. I gave him a tour the next day. He goes, you're ready. And July 4th, he gave me a tour. So it was like 4 days after meeting him. I'm out there leading people around the city. My first fear was that I was going to get lost, like I was going to have to ask somebody on the tour, like, do you know which way the pizza shop is? But I didn't get lost. I did okay. And I remember at the end of the tour, I whispered to one lady, I was like, I have to tell somebody, this is my first tour. And she goes, no way. You seem like you're really good at this. I thought you'd been doing it a long time. So I fell in love with the industry. I'm working for him. I'm working for other people. I'm kind of freelancing. And people on the tour would say to me, is this your business? Is this your business? Is this? No, I work for somebody. And after a while, it really got in my head. And I said, I got to start my own thing. So I started Nice Guy Tours. There's the logo. I played with the name a little bit. Like, was I going to do something with Dante's? And I knew I'd have other people working with me. And I would read reviews. And you would think, oh, this person knew everything about the culinary industry, or this person was an expert on history. No, if you look at reviews, it's about connection. Like you said, it's about people being nice and making a connection and making me feel like family. So that's really why the business thrives. Is like, I like people. I do.
I mean, it might be a scary thought in today's day and age that you like people after you talk to some of these folks walking around, but I love people. I love hearing
Mm-hmm.
their stories. I love to hear where it meets in the middle. I love it. It's what makes
Me,
us all unique.
me too. Me too. You mentioned about connection. They say the opposite of addiction is connection. It's
Really? What if you're
you want
addicted to connection, though?
you I then you connect in your addiction. No, but you isolate and you want to connect with people. That's really what people are looking for. That's what we all need. That's why God put us here. If God wants to send a message to a giraffe, he doesn't send a rhinoceros. He sends another giraffe, right? So when God wants to send messages to us, he sends another person. He wants us together. That's why he stuck us all here together to figure it out.
And yet we've tried with the pandemic and technology and everything to keep us distant from each other. So, yeah,
Not gonna
again,
happen.
it's not going to happen. Just to throw it out there for everybody, right? And we're going to take a break in just a moment, but I met Dante and learned about his food tour when we went on my wife's best friend's husband's 40th birthday tour, which was an absolute blast. I had some friends from home that were hanging out with and enjoying the city and enjoying the history and enjoying Dante. And he was joining some of our antics along the way, laughing at how we do things, running around the city. But it was just such an awesome experience. And especially like nowadays, I know we're going to get into this. Like, you know me, I'm the SMB guy. I like to talk with small, medium sized businesses. The fact that people like are kind of independent and working remotely more than ever before and on their own. Oh my God, such a fun community building, team building type of exercise. It's like I'm always going to remember that 40th birthday over and above some of the other ones, except for mine because it was during the pandemic also on the earlier side, and my wife got a live band to play music in my backyard because all the concert tickets were canceled. But other than
Whoa.
that, yours was probably the most memorable part of that whole period of life that I learned about. And thank you for that because love what you do and how you do it, and love the relationship we've built out of it. It's fucking awesome.
It's great. Yeah. I can't believe your wife was able to get a live band during the pandemic. Were they masked up or what? Or were they 6 feet
Nope.
apart?
Nope, they were not
No.
6 feet apart. And I hope you notice along the lines of talking about my wife, she doesn't let me go out in public very often in some of the attire that I like, especially if it's a Billboard T-shirt. So this one was definitely for you. My stomach is flat. The L is just silent.
I love it. I love it.
Got to take a
I,
quick
s-
break.
I tell people that I have a perfectly flat stomach and a perfectly round ass. They're just on the opposite sides of my body. I just got to get spun around.
And Logan, the engineer, says, I am in shape. Round is a shape, right? Yeah, so there you have it, right? We,
It's
uh, we
great.
got we got to take a break, but we'll be right back with the man himself, Dante Mercadante. He's the founder of Nice Guy Tours in New York City. Stay with us, people.
Are you a conscious co creator? Are you on a quest to raise your vibration and your consciousness? I'm Sam Leibowitz, your conscious consultant, and on my show, The Conscious Consultant Hour Awakening Humanity, we will touch upon all these topics and more. Listen live at our new time on Thursdays at 12 noon Eastern Time. That's The Conscious Consultant Hour Awakening Humanity, Thursdays 12 noon on talkradio.nyc.
Are you a high-achieving, growth-oriented leader? Are you interested in developing your authentic leadership while creating a healthy, inclusive workplace? Hi, I'm Dr. Mira Broncu, host of The Hard Skills on talkradio.nyc at 5 p.m. Eastern on Tuesdays, where we discuss how leaders develop the hard skills needed to make a greater impact. We interview experts, have live coaching, and tackle these challenges. Listen to the hard skills on Tuesday at 5 p.m. Eastern on talkradio.nyc.
Are you a business owner? Do you want to be a business owner? Do you work with business owners? Hi, I'm Stephen Fry, your small and medium-sized business or SMB guy, and I'm the host of the new show, Always Friday. While I love to have fun on my show, we take those Friday feelings of freedom and clarity to discuss popular topics on the minds of SMBs today. Please join me and my various special guests on Friday at 11 a.m. on talkradio.nyc.
You're listening to Talk Radio NYC. Uplift, educate, empower.
Welcome back, everybody. It's Friday. It's always Friday, and it's me, Stephen Fry, your SMB guy. But it's not just me. I have Mr. Nice Guy from New York City, Dante Mercadante. Yes, that is his real name. He is the founder of Nice Guy Tours, award-winning, top-rated walking food tour of New York City. Awesome neighborhoods, awesome nosh. You got to try it. Dante, before we get into the method behind your madness, which I'm very excited for you to share, reshare, and update everybody on, if you'll indulge me, I like to sit out by the fire pit. It's something I do here at the beginning of the method segment, and we kick off everything with a little perspective. So life is unexpected sometimes, people. Stuff happens, shit happens, whatever you want to call it, right? So Dante was supposed to come down and hang with me in person, which is few and far between, very few and far between that I've done on the show. It's usually done at my little studio area with my green screen and goofing around with pictures and whatnot. But ever since I interviewed him 2 years ago, right about this time, right around Mother's Day time, he had learned about and saw one of the episodes regarding one of my favorite local places to attend, the Bear and Birch Russian sauna, right? And he's been texting me and randomly calling me when we catch up ever since about trying to hit the sauna with me at some point and check it out. So we had made this whole elaborate plan for today for Dante to come down and meet me. I wanted to entertain you guys a little bit. I sent him the menu beforehand of all the food that's available there. And I said, dude, pick out your top 3 things as a foodie guy that you'd want to try and let me know what they are. We'll have it all ready. The owner of the place, Pete, Papa Bear, Brother Bear, as we call him, everything was ready to go. Like we had people ready to make some of the dishes. The Samsa was the first thing that he wanted. Samsa is like an Asian style pastry that has minced lamb and onions in it. The thing is freaking unbelievable. It comes with this little order of 2 of them. And I'm just like, I love the choices he made, by the way. So I'm going to tell you all about them. Since we were not able to have Dante here in person, again, his kids got sick. Shit happens. We deal with it. What I decided to do was in our little show prep call that I like to do, and Dante knows the game. He can play it better than anybody, but I always like to spend 20, 30 minutes with the guest before the show starts, like a day or 2 before. So what I did was I went to Bear and Birch and ordered his favorite things. And not to say I was rubbing it in his face, but I was kind of rubbing it in his face. So we could talk a little bit about it today. He was saying an appetizer, a main course, and a dessert would be some of his favorite things to try. So it goes nice and awesome with the way that I like to do things here. The chef is a wizard at the Bear and Birch, at the sauna. And every time I'm there and I'm trying one of the things, I feel like I think of you almost every time, Dante, with the kind of stuff that you do and the kind of fun that you have with the people on the tours and the random neighborhoods and some of the authentic stuff in New York City. So before I flip this over to you, I'm going to tell you, don't forget to unmute yourself again, because you have to do that before you start talking. But the method part of the show, like the idea here, Dante, what do you do? How do you do it? How do you go to market for it? Since a place like the Bear and Birch is like a normal hangout spot for me, I'm well in tune with their methods. That's how I was able to kind of set the stage. And again, I love the relationship that we have that's blossomed over the last couple of years. Like we're sitting there virtually eating dinner together, basically, and laughing our asses off while we're talking to each other. But I know you're looking to integrate some new parts of the tours and some new focuses and everything. But talk to everybody about exactly what you're doing, how you're doing it, how you've been going to market for it. I know that online advertising has been big. Just give us some method behind the madness, for God's sake.
Yeah, so we talked a little bit in the last segment about just food tours in general, and it's you take people around a neighborhood. It takes the ones that I do are about 3 hours. Every big city and small city has them. I always tell people like if you're going to travel, do a food tour. It's a really great time. So you get some history of the neighborhood, you get history of the restaurants, and you eat, right? So when I started the business almost 10 years ago now, I started with Greenwich Village in the Lower East Side, two really great food neighborhoods, two different neighborhoods, but great neighborhoods for like food and small shops. We're not It's not necessarily fine dining. You find like some little hole in the wall places, really good places, but really delicious stuff, right? So that's what we started with. And now soon we're going to be launching Astoria, Queens, which is such a great spot for a food tour, and Chinatown as well. So we have two, and by the middle of the summer, we're going to have four. Astoria will launch June 6th, and then Chinatown tentatively July 5th. So
I
that's
don't
our
know if you
plan for
know
that.
this. I think I told you this, Dante. I'm a Jewish guy, so Chinese food is the food of my people. So I really appreciate that.
Oh, no problem. We'll run a special Christmas Chinatown
It's really
Jewish
big
food
for
tour
me,
for
bro.
you.
Thank you.
Yeah, there we go. We could go to a movie after, right? Isn't that usually the plan?
I like to ski on Christmas, but yeah, if totally, we could totally do that.
Great stuff. It's funny. I should take a poll with the Lower East Side tour, all those places that we go to, like Katz's and the Pickle Guys and all that. If I check the Chinatown food tour and the Lower East Side food tour, I wonder which one I'll get more Jewish people on. It'll probably be just about equal, right?
Why can't you make it a combo deal, two for the price of two? Like we go to both.
You know what though? Some of that food is it's a funny thing. Like I've had we go to Economy Candy on the Lower East Side tour, and they give us a little sample of halva, this like sesame candy or whatever. And I once had two Jewish sisters who they were in their 70s, and one of them went, "Oh my goodness, I love my grandmother used to give it to me, and she couldn't wait to taste it." And the other sister, when I went to offer her the sample, she goes, "My grandmother used to give it to me." Like she didn't like it. So I guess it's all about perspective,
It's definitely about perspective.
Some people sort of like the food of their people, and then some people like to explore other stuff. As an
I just always
Italian
like
guy,
messing. I just always like messing with people. I'd be like, I'm a Jewish guy, so Chinese food is obviously the food of my people.
I'm half Italian and half Scottish, but whatever. I tend to lean more towards the Italian with some stuff. My wife is 100% Italian, so a lot of the food we eat at home is Italian. So when we eat out, we don't really choose Italian. You want something different, right? And Chinese food, that's a hard one to make at home,
Yeah.
you know? So
Well, actually, one of my buddies these days is a Chinese guy that used to have his own restaurant, and he makes it look so damn easy, and I hate him for it. I also love him for it because he brings me a lot of leftovers.
but whenever you walk in a Chinese restaurant and you see somebody who works there taking a break, what they're eating, it's not always on the menu, this Americanized Chinese. And that's what we want to do in our Chinatown food tour. We want to get the people, we want to feed them what the Chinese people are eating, not what the Americanized Chinese stuff is. Not that there's anything wrong with General Tso's chicken, but we want to give them real traditional Chinese.
I know we're going to save a lot of stories for the madness segment, which is my way and is the way we like to party here. But while you're talking about Chinatown, I gotta tell you this quick one, right? So Wohop is my favorite go-to Chinatown place, and my buddy as well, who I happened to see at the funeral this past week, and he's a good friend of Amanda's as well. And it's not like a dead-on type of thing, but he does resemble James Gandolfini a little bit. Remember Tony Soprano?
Okay.
And before James Gandolfini passed away, it's like we would go to a Wohop together sometimes, and they'd be like, "Oh, Mr. Gandolfini!" Like I was just like, "What?" Like they thought he was James Gandolfini, and I always thought it was really funny until we went there one time after James had passed away, and they looked shocked, obviously, and they're, no, it's not James Gandolfini. Don't get scared.
Back from the dead. I love it. I love it. Wohop's a
Anyway,
great spot. Yeah, Wohop is a great spot. And that's another fun thing about like doing a food tour is right now we're kind of in this like exploratory stage, right? Where we're going trying stuff and trying to come up with the route. And like, listen, it's a fun job. I'm not saying that like I'm not trying to make it seem like it's difficult because it's not. But I feel like it's not as simple as people think it is. Like I'm going around trying to find these spots, and you got to sit down at some of them. You want a restroom at some of them, obviously. You want to make sure that all the people who work there are going to sort of be happy to see us. You don't want them like, oh, here comes the food tour kind of thing.
Yes.
You want to make sure it speaks to the neighborhood. You want to make sure it speaks to the city. So like a lot of that, like it's not as easy as I make it look.
It's just like my buddy cooking the Chinese food in his kitchen. I no, for sure, it's not as easy as you make it look. But it is fun, man. Like, and the fact that you have basically created your own job and your own business and your own enterprise. Listen, this is something that is like the stuff that dreams are made of, right? It's the stuff that dreams are made of aren't always that glamorous. Running your own business and your own enterprise and paying your own taxes and doing payroll, which I know you're first starting to get to a place where you have some other people doing tours and everything, which
I do.
Following the pandemic and everything is awesome to see. I mean, it gets me excited to see you expanding into different neighborhoods and a little bit of different perspectives, maybe with some different people squawking about it. But it's one of the most fun concepts, and to do it with you in person, like there's no substitute for it. You bring a lot of magic to it, without a doubt.
Whenever I meet young people who are like, let's say like high school, college age or whatever, I always tell them, and people tried to tell us too when we were young and we didn't listen, but I'm like, the world is such a big place. Like I'm working in an industry that I didn't even know existed, and it's like the world is such a huge place. I used to think there was like 5 or 6 jobs and I had to choose one of them, but it doesn't work like that. Like I really found something I love, and it happened like whatever. I believe in God, I believe in fate, but like, but it kind of happened by accident in a way. It seems like it was by accident. Like who knew that this was going to happen?
It's like back in college, many moons ago, when I would tell people that cannabis distribution and management was going to be a major in college at some point, and people would tell me I was crazy, which they were arguably correct. But it's like that. Then all of a sudden, it's like, it's like permeating the entire country. In the state of New Jersey, Richard Stockton College, now Stockton University, was the first place to launch that. I was, see, I'm not so crazy. I'm just a little ahead of my time.
What if somebody knocked on your door and said, listen, I'm making a musical about Alexander Hamilton and it's going to be hip hop. Would you like to invest some money in it? You would have said no.
Put it
right?
that way, how can I lose?
Right. Or like Facebook, like, yeah, everybody's going to put their picture up and all their information. And it's, like, who knew?
Back to the idea of you making it simpler than it looks and everything. You might think this is a simple type of little mantra to put out there. It's like, walk, talk, eat, repeat. Pretty simple methodology, right?
That's the plan on the tour. That's exactly what we do.
That's what happens. But, again, and this is something I know we're going to get into as we move forward here. But, one thing that always really excited me about this, and I'm happy to, talk about it with you as we have in some other conversations. But, when you listen to even some of the commercials for talkradio.nyc, which anytime we have the opportunity to interview somebody who's right in New York City and right in the heart of it and having a blast, I feel like it's always very special. But, we talk about being able to uplift, educate, and empower. We also talk about professional serving community, right? And I do a lot of that type of mantra. But as we get into talking about team building and the group tours and things like that, you can also be professionals building community, right? Especially when you get into the idea of people working remotely and virtually and not having as much, hangout, commiserating time, even with their colleagues. Forget about the clients and prospects and whatever they're trying to serve. So, I always, dude, I feel like I said this to you when I was on the walking tour, just because, I'm always focused on the small, medium-sized business side. But the idea of doing team building events and corporate focus type of stuff, I love that for this concept, and I can't wait to talk to you more about it.
That's great. When we come back, should we tease it after the break?
Come back. I was trying to leave a cliffhanger. Thanks for playing right into it. I like that. We will be right back with the man, the myth, the legend, Mr. Nice Guy himself, Dante Mercadante. Yes, that is his real name. He's the founder of Nice Guy Food Tours in New York City. Stay with us.
Hey everybody, it's Tommy D, the nonprofit sector connector, coming at you from my attic. Each week here on talkradio.nyc, I host a program, Philanthropy in Focus. Nonprofits impact us each and every day, and it's my focus to help them amplify their message and tell their story. Listen each week at 10 a.m. Eastern Standard Time until 11 a.m. Eastern Standard Time, right here on talkradio.nyc.
Were you an essential worker during the pandemic? If you needed to learn stages of epilepsy, did you depend on advocates? Did you use new innovations to cope with mental and neurological issues? Maintaining high quality of life and keeping good mental health are what we all strive for. I'm Frank R. Harrison, host of Frank About Health, And each week, top healthcare influencers, professionals, and innovators answer these questions and more. Stay tuned on Thursdays at 5 p.m. on talkradio.nyc, and I will continue to be frank about health with all of you.
Are you a business owner? Do you want to be a business owner? Do you work with business owners? Hi, I'm Stephen Fry, your small and medium-sized business or SMB guy, and I'm the host of the new show, Always Friday. While I love to have fun on my show, we take those Friday feelings of freedom and clarity to discuss popular topics on the minds of SMBs today. Please join me and my various special guests on Friday at 11 a.m. on talkradio.nyc.
You're listening to Talk Radio NYC at www.talkradio.nyc. Now broadcasting 24 hours a day.
Welcome back to Always Friday with me, Stephen Fry, your SMB guy. We are chatting with Dante Mercadante. He is the founder of Nice Guy Tours, a walking food tour in New York City. It's historic neighborhoods. It's remarkably delicious cuisine. Some hole in the wall, some crazy Zagat rated. Whatever you want. He's got it all. He knows the city cold. What do you want from me? You guys got to try out his tour. Simply put, one of the most fun experiences, especially during the pandemic-ish types of years that I had. You got to read his testimonials. We'll get a couple of them out to you at the end of the show here. But he's a 5-star experience all the way. We're going to get into some of the madness here. Before we do, I would like to tell you guys about Dante's second choice for the main course as we get into the storytelling piece and the fun piece of the show here. So the second thing that Dante selected from the Baron Birch, Russian Sauna Club menu were the pierogies, right? And I think it was all in the description, like him being about the people. It's like handmade with potato, fried onion, and the love of a Polish grandmother. Love of a Polish grandmother. How do you mess with that, man? I mean,
Can't go wrong with that.
That's where it comes from. So here it is. Came fresh out of the kitchen from Crazy Chef. I believe his real name is Alexei, but we call him Yosha. That's his nickname. He's a Ukrainian guy, one of the best cooks ever. And he's very regimented. He looks serious when he's cooking. Very, very serious guy. But this was Dante virtually visiting with me, doing my thing, and
I look jealous in that photo.
Yeah, and this is one of my old pictures of you. It's almost like you could smell the pierogies through the phone.
Look at that jealous look in my face. You could tell.
I didn't want you to necessarily be drooling through the phone, but I did want to entice you to make sure that you come down here before the club closes for the summer.
It was punishment for canceling on you because of my sick kids. And
I'm not trying to hate on the sick kids.
No one's feeling better. But it was punishment. You made me watch you eat it. That's all right. I get it.
It's a little sadistic, I grant you. But hey, you get to do this every single day, and I got to watch you with the pictures of it.
All right. We'll call it Even Steven.
Yeah.
Oh, Even Steven.
Even Steven. There you go. So, Dante, this is the madness part of the show. This is where we talk about the artistic observational part of what you do. I love the science before the art. I love the method behind the madness. It brings together the story nice and wonderfully to me for everybody I speak with. And we've talked about some of your stories in the past. I've lived your tour. We want you to share, with the audience some of the observations you've had from the field. Things sound like they're changing a little bit with the launch of some of the new platforms and everything, but we want to hear from you, some of the stories you have from the field. No subject too taboo. Anything goes. You don't have to embarrass people that were acting like bigger knuckleheads than I was on your tour, which is hard to imagine if you had anybody like that. But if you did, we want to hear about them. It's probably newsworthy.
Well, you mentioned, can you tell me that one again? Professional serving community. Is that what you said? The
professional serving community. And I looking at what you're doing, I keep thinking about professionals actually building community.
That's beautiful, right? With the team building. That's a great segue. But I was just thinking about how I was talking about the joy of my job. And listen, I enjoy it. People are in a good mood. They're happy. I'm showing them around. I'm feeding them. But I think the real joy really comes from feeling like of service. Like I do. I feel like at the end of the tour, I've accomplished something. I've showed people a side of New York they wouldn't otherwise see. They're full, their bellies are full, their heads are full. But the truth is, I wind up learning something new, like every day on my tour. Like somebody will ask me a question and I'll learn something new. But then sometimes you learn something new about somebody, right? So I'll give you an example. When I was in the fourth grade, I learned that cats didn't have 9 lives. And I'm being serious. I guess from watching too many cartoons, I thought a cat would literally die and still have 8 more lives left. When I was in the fourth grade, I learned that.
Like Looney Tunes was really rough for that with us growing up.
It's funny. It's funny what I'm saying, but it's true. I really believed it. Well, we go to the Pickle Guys on my Lower East Side tour, and the subject came up about, you take the cucumbers and you brine them. And at the Pickle Guys, they don't use vinegar. They don't use heat. That's a way to like speed up the pickling process. They do it the old-fashioned way. Anyway, lady started looking at me kind of puzzled, whatever. And then she came up to me and she goes, cucumbers? Pickles are cucumbers? So she was probably around 40, and she learned that day that there are no pickle trees, that pickles come from cucumbers. So I get to see stuff like that from time to time. I had an embarrassing one like that, not just the fourth grade one, but I learned that balsamic vinegar, I'm embarrassed to tell you this, comes from grapes. I didn't know that. I don't know if I ever thought about it. I don't know if I thought there were like balsamic trees growing somewhere, but I had no idea. And light balsamic vinegar comes from white grapes, and dark balsamic vinegar comes from dark grapes. You don't look nearly as surprised as I was to learn.
I'm just thinking about like having a pickle tree in my backyard is something that's been a lifelong dream of mine. So I can understand sharing the kind of fantasy land that this person was dreaming of on your tour. Just so you know, Dante, right by my house is Bell Laboratories, which is now called Bell Works. It's a commercial like tech center where there's lots of office space and super cool things to do and food and all this stuff. Every Wednesday they have a farmer's market, and there's a guy. I think he might even be called the Pickle Guy or whatever. Picklelicious. Sorry, that's what he's. That's
Okay.
what he's like. So Picklelicious, and he's based out of Teaneck, Northern Jersey. So on the way up to you, right? So Teaneck, this guy's the pickles are not only delicious. He's got these ones called firecracker pickles, and I'm so obsessed with them. Like it's the like sliced up pickle chip, like just hot enough where it's like your mouth is on fire. It's delicious and keeps you on your toes. I have them stashed all over town. I have them at my house. I have them stashed at the Bear and Birch just in case I want to throw them on something there, or take them in between shots of bourbon or whatever. I have.
Do you
them
eat them
stashed.
like as a snack or put them on something or both?
I have for different reasons. I have them stashed at the golf club so they make my martinis with them.
Wow.
I'm a little
Is it different?
sick,
So I know like the full-size pickles grow on certain trees. Do the pickle chips grow on underground or on a different tree? How do those usually?
Apparently, they grow in really nicely in Teaneck, New Jersey. I haven't seen a firecracker dill pickle chip farm, but I'm very interested in making one in my backyard in my later retirement years.
I think they're native to Teaneck. Yeah.
Right, they're native to Teaneck, New Jersey. Yeah. So yeah, I mean, like, here's one thing that I saw. I don't know if you had this 2 years ago. And this is like a fun madness that caters to the audience, right? Like I go on your site these days and it's like, oh, you want vegetarian friendly? We got that. Now, I'm not a vegetarian. Definitely a carnivore. But the fact that you could do a food tour and keep it vegetarian friendly, I'm like thinking about the artichoke pizza stuff that you used to do, like, or do you still do whatever? Like, that's
We
crazy.
do. Yeah. You know what's funny is full disclosure, right? So I was saying about how you learn something new by accident, like balsamic vinegar coming from grapes or whatever. I had a vegetarian on my Greenwich Village tour, and the lady goes, "This was such a great tour for vegetarians. I didn't change anything." And I'm like, "Ooh, I'm gonna start." She goes, "You should put it on the site, you know."
Good,
And
because you do falafels and you do that's great.
It's true. The same thing with the Lower East Side tour. Like, so dairy and gluten-free options. So we go to a bagel shop and we go to the donut plant on the Lower East Side tour, and they both started selling dairy-free and gluten-free options. And so I had somebody gluten-free on the tour. They were able to eat everything. I'll tell you a story. Honest, my hand to God, this is a real story. I had a lady on the tour who was gluten-free, okay? Her brother was gluten-free, so her mom made everything, like celiac disease, real deal, right? Her mom made everything kind of gluten-free at home. She goes away to college. She feels sick when she's in college, and when she's home, she feels fine. She realizes she has it too, right? So imagine she's about 20. She's diagnosed with celiac, right? So at this time, let's say she's like 35 when she's on my tour. I'm so locked into people. I want to make sure they're having a good time. I'm empathetic. Like I'm really watching. Like I'm making sure everybody's having a good time. We get to the donut plant, which is the last stop. I look over. She's crying. So, oh my God, did I say something? Did I do something wrong? I go over to her and she goes, "This gluten-free donut tastes like a donut." She was so moved. She goes, "I haven't had a donut in 15 years." It was tears of joy from the gluten-free donut. That sounds like a made-up story, and I'm trying to talk gluten-free people into coming on my tour. I swear, it's a real.
I'm ready to talk to gluten-free people about going on your tour for damn sure.
But she was like, "It tastes like a donut."
I mean, so I'm a little sick and twisted. It's like I see this, like, dairy and gluten-free options, and you're telling me how you learn something new every day. And I always ask people typically, about what their favorite movies are. One of my favorite movies is Snatch. You remember Guy Ritchie movie about?
Yeah, sure. Yup.
You remember when Tommy grabs the milk out of Turkish's hands and throws it out the window? He's just like, it's like the human digestive system's not set up for any dairy products yet. And he's like, well, fuck me, Tommy. What have you been reading? Like, it's I learn something new every day. Like, I feel like every other day, I have friends coming up to me like after like 45 years going, "Oh yeah, I'm dairy free now."
So you know what? The lactose thing is a real thing with age because I guess we create this. I'm not a scientist or a doctor, but like the hormone, we create it to break it down as a baby because we need the milk, and then we stop creating it after a while. Yeah. If I drank a glass of milk, you don't even want to know. But I can eat like.
No, please don't do it right now, bro. I don't want you to do that.
Next show. My third
next show. We'll save that for next time. But it's a lot of times people like, I have my buddies. I'm an Ashkenazi Jew. I have a really weak stomach certain times. I also in some ways have a very strong stomach. But it's very back and forth. It's not always tolerant of what's going on around me, especially if I combine my whiskey Thursdays with my martini Fridays. It doesn't like that at all.
It's funny with the weak and the strong, right? So you could have like smoked salmon, roll mops, and stuffed cabbage, but like a bowl of ice cream might put you down for the count.
Walk, talk, eat, repeat, but it does have some fun madness associated with it. Not the least of which is you might learn something new every day, but you do a great job of catering to the folks who are on the tour. And just like you said, when we look at the testimonials, which we're probably going to throw one or two of them out there when we wrap up the show, but you really like making people feel like they're part of the family. And I can't tell you how important that is. It's such a people-centric type of feeling. But, it's not just for the locals. It's for the people who are like the tourists who are coming in from afar. Like that type of feeling, if you're a tourist in a city, it's like, and you feel like you're part of the family, great. Like I snapped this picture while I was doing the virtual tasting with you last night, and you were kind of given like almost like an Italian type of food look. It was like, hey,
it's funny you say about the connection. So like we sometimes remember insults, compliments that we've gotten. One of the best compliments I've ever gotten as a tour guide is we always end and start at Molly's Cupcakes. So we meet there, the group can gather, they get a cup of coffee, use the restroom, and then we loop around Greenwich Village and we end with a cupcake. And the one of the girls that works there, her name is Alicia. She said, when the people show up for the tour, you could see there's like some trepidation. It's almost like a date. They're kind of chatting with each other a little bit. And she goes, when you guys walk in after the 3 hours, you guys seem like a big family, like everybody knows each other. And that's one of the best compliments I've ever gotten in my life, because that's really what I'm trying to do on the tour is like bring the people together.
100%. I couldn't agree more. And to take it a step further, and we'll take that quick break, but I love that there's still, even though you figured out something very cool and very special along the way, there's still some evolving pieces of it. And, I love, the back and forth that you and I have sometimes. I love that I can send you something that I'm like, oh my God, I got to try this place. And I'm like, I wonder if Dante has tried this yet. I sent you like something I saw on Instagram or whatever. And I was like, dude, there's like a million different types of gnocchi here and they're all less than $10. So I was like, Dante, have you done this yet? And you're like, no, but I added it to my list of absolutely must tries in the very near future.
We do. I really have to go. I put it on my list, and maybe we'll film the third episode from there, but I won't have a glass of milk.
No glass of milk, please. No, not for the show. Well, we're going to take a quick break, but we'll be right back with Dante Mercadante. He's the founder of Nice Guy Food Tours in New York City. Stay with us, people. He's got more to tell you.
Are you a high-achieving, growth-oriented leader? Are you interested in developing your authentic leadership while creating a healthy, inclusive workplace? Hi, I'm Dr. Mira Broncu, host of The Hard Skills on talkradio.nyc at 5 p.m. Eastern on Tuesdays. where we discuss how leaders develop the hard skills needed to make a greater impact. We interview experts, have live coaching, and tackle these challenges. Listen to The Hard Skills on Tuesday at 5 p.m. Eastern on talkradio.nyc.
Hey everybody, it's Tommy D, the nonprofit sector connector, coming at you from my attic. Each week here on talkradio.nyc, I host the program Philanthropy in Focus. Nonprofits impact us each and every day, and it's my focus to help them amplify their message and tell their story. Listen each week at 10 a.m. Eastern Standard Time until 11 a.m. Eastern Standard Time, right here on talkradio.nyc.
Are you a conscious co-creator? Are you on a quest to raise your vibration and your consciousness? I'm Sam Leibowitz, your conscious consultant, and on my show, The Conscious Consultant Hour, Awakening Humanity, we will touch upon all these topics and more. Listen live at our new time on Thursdays at 12 noon Eastern Time. That's The Conscious Consultant Hour, Awakening Humanity, Thursdays, 12 noon on talkradio.nyc.
You're listening to Talk Radio NYC at www.talkradio.nyc. Now broadcasting 24 hours a day.
Welcome back to Always Friday with me, Stephen Fry, your SMB guy. We are chatting with my buddy and returning special guest, Dante Mercadante. He is the founder of Nice Guy Food Tours in New York City. He's launching some new tours, some new neighborhoods, some new history, some fun things for you guys to check out. But for those of you who haven't checked out some of the OG tours in Greenwich Village as well as the Lower East Side, you're truly missing out. So as we start to get to the nice weather, Memorial Day weekend, and you're more tempted to go outside, you got to get on his radar. And coming soon, as Dante said, it was early July, I believe. There's going to be the Chinatown food tours, as well as first week in June. There's going to be the food tour in Queens. Did I get that right? I forgot the
You
exact.
did. Astoria launches June 6th, and then definitely, and then Chinatown tentatively July 5th.
All right, awesome.
In Astoria, by the way, just real quick, in Queens, there's more languages spoken than anywhere else in the world.
More than in the UN. We were talking about that.
Yes. Sure. And so any place where you have people that speak every language, you're gonna need food for all those people. And then we're gonna get to go try their food. So
back to the food discussion. We're at the message part of the show, the whole idea, Dante, from Weekend Insight to Monday Impact. We talked about it. But we're also at the dessert phase of our virtual New Jersey food tour at the Bear and Birch. Again, I love the fact that you picked out the three things that you did, and that one was an appetizer, one was a main course, and one was a dessert. So for dessert, remember you had said pierogies and vareniki. Pierogies, everybody's familiar with the potatoes and the onions. The cherry vareniki was what you had picked for your dessert, and it's a pretty popular one at the Banya. They're hand-rolled dessert, kind of like dumplings. And they have sweet cherry fillings. So by the time I was done devouring everything that we were talking about and that you had said you would want if you were able to show up, which again, I'm not trying to give you any sort of hard time for. You got to be able to take care of the kids, especially when they're sick. But I did want to have my version of how we close out the show and how we do dessert at the Banya style. So by the time I was done eating everything, I definitely did not have enough room. So there are some cherry vareniki left. So I'm not going to save them till the next time I see you, because we can just go.
We'll have to go get fresh ones.
But yeah, this might be breakfast today. I'm not going to lie to you. So I'm not going to take a bite on it during the show, because cherry stuff will come out of it, and I'll just totally destroy my stomach is flat shirt, which would be par for the course if there was a big oozing bit of some type of food on it. But there's a lot of fun messages that we can give people here, from Weekend Insight to Monday Impact. One that you and I had talked about a lot, the idea of community and bringing people together. There's so many things that have happened in the last couple of years that can drive people apart, from pandemic living to people arguing about politics, which is never something that I like to get involved in. I like to bring people together, not divide them.
Oh, yeah, you ain't kidding.
I was so excited to bring the two of us together, and I have every bit of faith that we'll make it happen before June 30th because I'm going to bust your chops every week until then. But,
we definitely will. You know, sometimes like family gets in the way, right? That kind of stuff.
Yeah, absolutely. Absolutely. That's why I send my kids to sleepaway camp. We have, I think, exactly 30 days until they leave. So
yeah, you mentioned having that dance thing coming up. So I bought tickets for the Belmont Stakes, which is at Saratoga this year. It's on June 8th. My daughter has a recital on June 8th. I gave the tickets away. And I got to tell you, 100% of me doesn't care. I would choose that a million times over the Belmont Stakes. I'd much rather go to the recital. I know you were kidding in the beginning, but I know you love spending every weekend at the, what is it, the New Brunswick?
The New Brunswick State Theater. It's every Memorial Day weekend. Every
Memorial Day. I know you don't mind. That's the way to kick off your summer.
I mean, I know that at least I have some air conditioning, and I'm not going to get sunburned too badly. But
there you go. Exactly.
So last night when I was taking the videos of you while I was destroying all this food. You met Tony for a second. So Tony does some things for the Banya, and I told you that it's closed every Tuesday, so you can come whenever you want. It just can't be Tuesday. But this Tuesday, I totally forgot about this. He tried an experiment on Cinco de Mayo of where he had a taco specialist in the house and was just sitting there rolling tacos the whole time. And the whole thing was such a blast. I believe he's doing that again this Tuesday, and they're open from 1:00 p.m. until
on 11. A Tuesday. That's a good segue for what I wanted to tell you. Can I tell you something real quick? Is that all right if I interrupt you?
Go ahead.
I felt a little bit guilty about not showing up last night. I know you understand why. So I wanted to bring a special guest on, and I got you like a surprise. Okay.
Oh,
so
I like surprises.
Yeah. So the name of the show is FreyDay. So I said maybe I could get the guy from Robinson Crusoe, like FreyDay, but he wasn't available. Then you mentioned Tuesday, the taco truck. I couldn't do that. And then I said, what about the Dragnet guy FreyDay, right? I couldn't get him. So I got us the next best thing. I got Wednesday is here with us today. This is Wednesday. Say hi to Wednesday. Wednesday, say hi. Hi. Wednesday's very serious, as you know, from the Addams family.
Yeah. Wednesday's very serious from the Addams family, just like you're very not serious.
This is your special surprise, okay?
That's, you know what? My younger daughter, who I was going to have my older daughter in here, and she decided, she texted me while we were doing the show. Like we talked about it before the show, and she said, "Yeah, I'm going to the movies. I left already." We're at that point where she's had enough of me.
Well, Wednesday,
somewhere though.
Wednesday, aka Stella, can't run out to the movies without me, so she's been waiting for it, right, honey?
Stella, it's so nice to meet you. I heard a lot about you. How you feeling?
Tell him the name of our business. Do you know it? What's the name of it?
I'm not going to tell you.
Tell him. Oh, because you're Wednesday. Can you make pretend you're Stella for a minute and tell him?
No.
Okay. Bye, Wednesday.
She's good.
She stays in character.
My younger one has been talking about being Wednesday for Halloween for the last 3 years, and she still hasn't done it yet. She talks about Halloween multiple years in advance, though.
We had a couple of changes of mind. She was Sally Nightmare Before Christmas one time, but she likes Wednesday. Yeah, it's very serious business.
So for Nice Guy Tours, right, the best way to get in touch with Dante himself, 646-883-0310, Dante at niceguytours.com. There is an address associated with it. It's where Dante gets his mail and does all of his things, but he is a walking awesome food tour of an office. So if you guys haven't done the ones he's been doing for years, the Greenwich Village tour, the Lower East Side tour, definitely come get a taste of that before you dive into the new Astoria, Queens, and Chinatown food tours. Dante, I'm sorry we weren't able to do this in person. It will not be the last time. I feel like we have a ton more that we want to discuss. So I'm going to tell people my birthday's coming up. I'm going to tell them to get me gift cards to Nice Guys Food Tour.
There you go. They could get a gift card. I also created a discount. So if they go to niceguytours.com and they book, they could type in FreyDay, but spelled FreyDay, FreyDay.
Thank you.
And it'll charge them an extra 10%. No, I'm just kidding. It'll give them 10% off. If they use that code, it'll give you 10% off.
If you use that code, Dante will dump a bucket of fries on you when you get to the.
That's it. That's
pretty awesome. So
you get a free napkin. No, I'm just.
So we got to finish up here in just a moment. What I wanted to do with you, since we didn't do my normal me asking questions about movies, TV, and music. We did something which was arguably more fun for you. You gave me the answers to 3 different things you'd want to try from the Bear and Birch menu.
And then you tried them, and I got to watch.
Yeah, that was pretty good. That was pretty good for me. I'm pretty full from it last night. But I figured I would tell you the absolute one thing that I would try, and I alluded to it last night for you. And there's a lot of reasons why I love this, but the hinkali, the handmade Georgian-style jumbo dumplings filled with a juicy mix of lamb and beef. There's 6 big pieces of it. They look kind of like this. And not only is it one of the most delicious things ever, my buddy Johnny, who's been on the show 3 different times, who used to be the general manager of Bear and Birch, he and I, like, it's like a go-to thing that we order there. People love it, but it also, you know, I'm a hell-bent on process type of guy. It's the kind of thing where it has a little process to it. If you grab it by the knob and you turn it upside down and you take a bite, you drink the soup out, and then you put it down and you stuff a little bit of sour cream inside and then just devour the whole thing. It's probably one of the most euphoric food experiences you'll have all week.
On my way.
So, ONW for Dante. He is on his way. We're not sure when, but it's going to be before June 30th. Don't forget, July 5th is the targeted launch date for the Chinatown walking tour. And I don't know if
That's
Wohop's
right.
on the tour, but you know, for me, it's always part
That's
of the tour when I go.
That's right. It
But
won't be offered on Wednesdays.
we have at the moment 3 different people fighting for the slot for the next week's show. Actually, I was thinking about doing a cage match for them, but you know, I don't know if I have that kind of time this week. We'll see which one we're going to go with. But in the meantime, thank you for joining us on Always Friday. We hope you gained some weekend insight to make a Monday impact. Again, you got to go see Dante of Nice Guy Food Tours. If you haven't done any corporate events in a while and your people are all working remotely, get them all to come together and eat some food and have a good time and check out the city. But in the meantime, we will see you next Friday, 11 a.m. Eastern Time, right here on talkradio.nyc.
Dante, say bye Wednesday?
No.
No. She's going to say no. Okay. Bye, guys.
Take care, everyone. We'll see you next week.